My name is Shrads.
And my name's Rita, and this is
Almost there?
Question Mark.
Hello. Welcome back to this week's video.
Yes.
See, I still struggle with W's and B's.
But it'll always be a struggle.
It will.
And we should be proud of that.
Yeah, just part of who we are as people.
Part of the immigrant struggle.
Today will be a little bit of a different video, and it might be a little touchy, but you know.
How do you even start this?
Okay, so I think there is a way to start this. Okay. So this video is a little love letter to the males. And let's explain this. We need to break it down. Okay. So I've had several of these conversations in my life, and it's not just with like one person, whatever. I've had several of these conversations where people say like, I feel like you low key don't like men. Okay. And that's not the case. I have been blessed with lots of men in my life that I like love and have treated me so respectfully and so kindly. And it's been amazing. But I've also encountered a lot of people, and I know people that I love have encountered a lot of males that have not been as kind, and it's become scary. And the environment that we're also living in, like you could see it on the news every day. You could see it in the documentaries that are getting posted. Like, it's scary, right? And so I feel like we need to highlight the people who are good, because I do highlight personally sometimes how scary it can be, and it kind of overshadows all of them. Rightfully so. I'm not saying that like those people should not be like the people who did it, like who do those terrible things, they should be held accountable for it, but I guess they do, like, men do catch the brunt of it even if they're not doing it sometimes, which is not fair, I guess.
I guess.
No, it isn't fair.
This is why they say low-key.
No, there was no sarcasm in I guess. I just needed something to end that sentence. Yeah. And I didn't know how to close it off. But they do. Like, we are surrounded by lots of men who are not that way, you know?
Yeah. I think that's why it's been a different experience for us, because we have like healthy men in our lives. You know, men, they're not very complex, right? You know, who was I listening to? I think it was one of these comedians like Akash Singh, I think. And he was saying that women are just much more emotionally developed. Like throughout your life, you'll always kind of know that. Now, there's some women who aren't, though.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And the thing is, no one talks about that. So to that same point, yes, women are emotionally developed. And so that's why when we are thinking of how we would act in a situation and you compare that to how maybe the male that you're interacting with is responding to that situation, I think we just can't comprehend like how
did you get there?
Yeah. So it's just a bunch of questions, and it's not understanding, you know, the other person at the end of the day, right? But we also, you know, I
don't know where you're going with that.
I think a guy who grows up with a sister and has a decent relationship with the sister is a more understanding guy than a guy who grows up with a brother or is on their own.
I think there is a higher chance, but I think it also depends on how you're raised by your parents.
Did you see how I was trying to give credit to women again?
Yeah. It's because of the sister. No, but I do think it depends on how they were raised in their family, right? Like, I think in your case, maybe that was the case, but I think your brother is just like a fucking angel child in general.
Yeah.
But I think that in a household where it is like male dominated, sometimes that's not the case. Like, where like it's just how they were brought up because of culture or whatever the thing may be, they think differently, and that's fine. I do want to give males credit because I think a lot of it comes from like not being able to express themselves and not knowing how to fully express themselves, because I still think there is that thing, as much as we've like developed as a world, as whatever, like there's still the thing of you have to be a man and you have to act like a man. And I think women are given the chance and they're given the grace to be emotional, and I don't think men have been. And if they have, it's like really early on for them, so they don't necessarily like, their emotional might be overly emotional and they just don't know how to like regulate that, because they are finally, maybe their girlfriends are letting them or giving them a safe place to be emotional, or like they feel safe finally, but they haven't felt safe for a really long time, so they don't know how to like properly like express it. It's all a learned behavior, right? And I will also say some women are the exact same thing. Like there are moments where I just can't, like I'm so overwhelmed, I can't like communicate how I'm feeling. So I think like we need to give them grace in that sense, where if you don't know how to express your feelings, we can't expect you to do it perfectly, right? Mm-hmm.
You know, I honestly think there would be less division between men and women if we just accepted people for who they are and just let them be. Like, you are who you are, and I'm not going to try to change you. And if I'm not going to, because I know I successfully won't be able to change you. If life changes you, life changes you. But if I accept you, and you're like, you don't have to be part of my life. What I mean is, like, I'm not going to accept bullshit in my life, but I'm going to know that this is what I need and you're not able to meet that. So, like, I'm going to move the fuck on. But it's easier said than done, because we have good people in our life and we've come across those people and we're in those relationships as well,
where people respect those boundaries.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
so if I know you're not going to give me what I need in life, and I'm just saying, hey, I'm not going to get this from you, peace out.
I agree, but there's so many situations where that's not the case. One person can make that decision, but the other person, if they don't want that, they do what they want to do. And that's the issue.
In what circumstance? Like, give me an example.
It can be in a relationship circumstance. It can be where the girl breaks up with the man, where the guy breaks up with the girl, and then like they don't respect that. They get mad. They cross boundaries. They become a stalker. I'm saying both, in both situations, right? I want to say that's an ideal world. Like, that is a situation where I say, this is your life, this is my life, let's separate, we're not good for each other. But that's not always the case where that's possible.
Yeah, but that's like, at the end of the day, if you even look at before a relationship, if you're talking about just like people that are in situationships or talking phases or whatever, the reason there's a divide is because you're probably not compatible from the get. Yeah. But you keep trying to make it work, and then it keeps getting worse, and then it keeps going on. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, men are trash, because like you keep coming across the same sort of people. There's a lot that can be fixed on your own, but there's certain things that you just can't fix for someone. So what I'm saying is, once you see that from the beginning, because if I have enough, like, if it's just more like I just know I cannot deal with this and I'm not going to deal with this, then I don't even give you a chance to do something dumb to me.
Right, but there
are people who will go against that. I understand. There are people who can like take it the wrong way. They'll like, you know, be violent towards you or whatever. It could turn into something else, like you said, stalking and all of that. But I'm saying, in the general sense, if you're talking about just a talking phase or a relationship, whatever you accept, like, for yourself, is what you're going to accept from someone else. Does that make sense?
Like, if you allow it, they're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you distance yourself from it, let's say it's not turning into one of those like toxic situations, but if you distance yourself from it, and let's say they keep trying and trying and trying, but you already know where you're at, so you're not going to continue allowing that. Now that's for the men and women.
It goes both ways. Exactly. Yeah.
So I just think there would be less. But the thing is, social media has made it worse for men.
100%.
Yeah, like women, we get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah,
just because 100%. We're women. Yeah, you know? Yeah. Like, if I do or say something about a man, there are going to be much more women who support me because I'm talking shit about a man.
Yeah.
Versus if
If it was the other way around. If
if a man did that,
yeah.
he'd be fucking demolished.
Yeah.
You know, guys wouldn't even support him, like, even though they may
They'd be
agree
scared
with,
to. Yeah, for sure.
Because they're just scared of what the fuck this could lead to. So I think they just have it worse because of the world we live in currently.
I don't think they have it worse. I think that they have different pressures than we do. And I think that they
have it worse in terms of talking shit about them.
Yes, agreed.
That's
yeah,
what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I also think of like the dating world, like it is crazy, but there are situations that I've heard a lot more now than I have heard before, where like girls just go on like the dating app for like a free dinner because they know they can get it.
Yeah,
like, you know, that kind of situation, and that does suck. And I do understand, and like also I feel bad when there's like those pressures of like you have to pay for everything, and this economy, paying for everything is.
Yeah.
Like I get it, and I know, and it is hard, and I completely agree with you in those situations. Like a girl is allowed to socially say out loud men are trash, but if a man says it, it's a lot more scrutinized about a woman, and I get that, and that's unfair. And then even like the whole like there are a lot more pressures being a provider, proposing, like there's so many things, right, that like men have to deal with, and they have it a little pressure wise little worse.
Well, I think even as a kid, like you don't know, it's hard to find yourself. I mean, think about just for us, right? Like it's you know, we all have childhood shit that just affects us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So for boys, because they can't really communicate, or maybe they're not given the right tools to communicate.
100%.
We, you know, will communicate with like our girlfriends all the time about like things that are real. If you're lucky enough to have those friends, I'm not saying all girls are like that, but you can vent to people about, you know, things that are happening.
Yeah.
But I think for men, a lot of times it's just like, shut up, you're a pussy, or like, you know, like, okay, what's the big deal, like, or man up, like, what's like, come on, this is such bullshit, like, you can deal with this, like, it's not that big of a deal. So I think whenever they have talked about their problems, not whenever, but a lot of times, I'm sure when they talk about their problems, they're kind of just like dismissed because their issues are not issues, but their issues are issues, and our issues are issues as well. But when we say our issues, they're much more, it's a calm ground.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's out there like talking shit about it. But if a man does that, then it's like, you're a pussy. Like, get it together.
Yeah. And I also think like even if somebody's not saying that to them, it's like an internalized fear, right? Where it's just like not even a fear, but a pressure of like in your relationship or in your family, right? Like, I'm the man of the house, like I need to keep it together. And if shit's hitting the fan, like I need to be the one who holds it down, because we both can't freak out, right? And that's hard, like to hold the burden of everything that's going on. And then on top of that, like for me today, I was dealing with the whole Sephora gift card thing. The way I ranted to my fiance about it, like spammed him all morning about how annoyed I was. And man was like, yeah, no, like, that's terrible. Like, it's so bad. I'm so sorry. Like, that's the worst. And it's like, he's dealing with work shit. He's dealing with like so many other things. Yeah. And like, it's just like, for me, for him, it's like, that's just a part of who I am. And I have to take that on, right? And I'm sure, like, obviously it's different in our relationship, but there are, I'm sure, men who are just like, we're not talking about it. Like, my job is just to take it in and not give it out. And it takes like work to undo that. And sometimes, like, if you don't have like an outlet or somebody supporting you to do that work, you might never do it. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot to take, like, your whole life just being like strong and not talk about like your emotions and all of that. Like, I can't imagine. Yeah. I'd ranted to whoever would listen about this whole Sephora situation today. I couldn't have kept that in all day. No way, Jose.
Imagine keeping it in forever.
Crazy.
Sephora.
Crazy.
That's just like one example.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
And that's not even that big. Like, we're fortunate enough for it not to be that big, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, but, yeah, it's insane.
It's also like in the way that, you know, like the way they talk to women, like the way they grow up, and it's like, oh, if you give too much to a girl, then you're a, you know, again, same thing, you're a pussy. Or if you, what's the thing where a simp, right? Like you're such a simp or whatever. Like, and like you, when a guy is emotionally trying to be there for a girl and doing things that maybe she would want, he is looked down upon by other men or even women. A lot of women would be like, what the fuck is that?
I need somebody harder.
Yeah, like, oh, I need someone who's gonna be a provider, but not even provider. I need someone who's gonna protect me. Like,
yeah, that's so
You
true.
know?
Yeah, it's like you can't win in either situation.
yeah,
right?
like you get
yeah.
hate from the men, you get hate from the women. It's like, who's there for you? Like, unless you have a good people around you, it's like very hard.
I do think it's getting better though. Like I think men are realizing that like it's good to be a simp. It's good to be like somebody that's like obsessed with the person that you love, like, you know. And again, this isn't just like men and women relationships, like just any relationship, right? Like it's good to be in love with the person that you're with. Shocker.
Yeah.
But I think it is getting better than it used to be before because they're like, I think our generation overall, I think is more open to that, again because of social media, right? I don't know if it's for good or for bad, but if he wanted to, he would kind of vibes, which is also like a whole nother conversation in itself.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, ugh, that bothers me so much. If he wanted to, he would. He'd fly across the world with what money?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand how much a flight costs nowadays?
No, we need
like,
to be realistic, okay?
Yeah.
With expectations of what we expect off of this partner who's you're supposed to be like working towards things together rather than being like, well, what are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Like it's a competition and yeah, it's very unrealistic. Like these people are fucking influencers who get paid for like, you know, doing a lot of these things.
They're not
It's
paying for
real.
any of their flights.
Yeah.
They're not paying for the rooms that they're living in. They're not paying for the food. They're not
Yeah.
paying for the products that they put on their bodies. And you expect a man who is working a minimum wage job in like freaking university full time to fly across the world for you, take you on a trip to Japan. Like what in what world like is that realistic?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And I get it. That's so hard because none of that is expected of a woman. Like nobody
Yeah.
has ever expected a woman. Well, I'm sure some have because some are wild.
Mm-hmm.
But not most likely, percentage wise, I think 75% of men are expected to do the most and 25% of women
No
are
one
like,
even asks.
No.
Like what I've never heard anyone ask a woman like, okay, what's like a romantic thing that you've done for your partner?
Yeah.
Why is that not a question? Don't we need to do this?
Yeah, it should be
Like,
reciprocated. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, there's a lot of, like, first of all, you have work, okay?
Yeah.
And then you're tired at the end of the day. Then you're just trying to do the dishes.
But we get it the other way around though. Like, did you cook for your man? Do you
Yeah.
clean? Like, you know, like what do you do at the house?
But the thing is, it's not allowed anymore. If you really think about it, right now, I don't think I've heard it recently ever.
I heard
It might be from older generation.
but I do still think like it's fine. We've dealt with it for so long that it's about fucking time
that
we are told it's okay to not be in the kitchen.
No, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm saying nobody, like, expects it anymore.
Yeah.
That's my point with
Kinda,
the expectations.
yeah.
The expectations are just not expectationing.
I don't know if nobody expects it though. I feel like the people in our lives don't expect it, but I don't think nobody
True.
expects it.
But I think in general, North America, okay, I don't know.
You got so tall. How did that even happen?
I don't know, girl.
Yeah.
Why is my bun touching that? What was I saying?
In
The
general,
expectation isn't there though, right? Like it's the expectation from a woman. Now we're talking about here, North America. Like I'm not
I
talking
still
about
disagree.
that. What?
I do be on
You're
TikTok.
like, you're okay. She's part of the problem.
I'm on TikTok in the sense of like I see that like
Women
there are
expected?
well they're not expected, like I think it goes both ways where like the man is like they joke about it, or and then the woman also, there are women who enjoy it, so it's just a part of like it's just how they were brought up, and also they like cooking, they like cleaning, they want to be like a homemaker, like that's like whatever. I don't think it's expected as much anymore, but I do think it's still there. I don't think it's gone away. I think we are surrounded with it being gone away to an extent, but I don't think everybody is.
So if a guy goes on TikTok today
Yeah.
and says, I expect my woman to cook, clean, take care of the kids, take care of the house, that would not be controversial currently?
It will be controversial, but there's two sides. Like there's half the people will say, yeah, do that. And then half the people will say, what the fuck is wrong with you? So it like,
yeah, but I think if a guy says that, they'll be like, they'll put the whole thing of like, okay, red pillar guy, you know? And there is a negative connotation to red pill.
What is that again? What is it again?
It was created so that men have a safe space to talk about like things that they're dealing with, because, and this was like all online. I don't know where they created it.
Is that a good thing?
They created it as a good thing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be an outlet for men to talk about things that are going on in their life. And like, how can they, like, if you're talking about like, how can you talk to a woman? Like, how can you pick up a woman, you know? And it wasn't anything like disrespectful. It was just like, how can you actually do it? Like, nobody tells us how to do these things. So how can we do that? Or like, you know, how can you earn money and like do different things to like make sure that you're taking care of like you and your family, like that sort of stuff. It started that way.
Yeah.
And then, you know, things went the other way where now it's like, well, you know, your woman's there to like listen to you and be submissive to you, and like you, as long as you're bringing in the money, like that's all that matters. Like just do that and you'll be good. Not all of it, of course, right? But a lot of it has, not a lot, sorry. It has moved towards that way as well, which is why people can have negative like connotations towards it. So what I'm saying is, if a man were to put that up, the red pillars would be like, fuck yeah. But the red pillars aren't many. There aren't many men who, even now, because not a lot of men, maybe you're right. Maybe we're surrounded by people who don't believe in that. But I think a lot of men are like, you don't have to do that. Now, if you're a housewife and you choose that life, it's a different story. But for the most part, I think women, like if a man were to put that up, women would fucking first of all shred this guy. And there are not many men would come and back him up. Publicly. Yeah, like they probably have a manosphere where they're like, yeah bro, like that's fucking sick. Like whatever, you know? But
I think it's also how it's like relayed, right? Like if it's relayed in a respectful way, then it's taken respectfully by people who are like consuming the content. But if it's how they say it, like it makes a difference. I don't know. It's
what I'm trying to say is when women say something like that, they're usually like, you know, like
and a good
equivalent.
Yeah, a good equivalent is like if a woman says, I want to be spoiled, and if he wanted to he would, and he needs to dine me, dine, whatever, and the comments are majority like, yes girl, you deserve better, like the bar's on the floor, like you need whatever. And if that same expectation, like that's just what he expects and not a disrespectful way, that's just what he wants, it would be a completely different comment section. I do agree. I do agree.
But that's why they get ripped on, right? Because like the reason why I understand why, because like where can they express themselves? If you're a social media person, first of all, not everything is on social media. There are many people who actually don't have fucking opinions about this shit. They're fine with whatever. You know, they're good people, right? So there's a whole world outside of social media. But this is all based on social media. And a lot of things that people kind of see is, you know, you scroll, and like the more you watch something, the more it comes onto your screens, and the more you see it, and like then it starts like is this even my thought, or is this just someone else's thought that I'm kind of just basing this off of? Like, it's like there was this whole thing like, I'm never gonna go on a first date, like just to go on like a walk or something, or
I would never go on a coffee date for a first
coffee
date
too. And I remember like I was having this conversation with my friends, and you know, I was like, why would you not go? Like, I don't get
to me, I'm like obviously. And sorry, continue. Yeah, continue. Yeah,
I like coffee.
Yeah,
what's
for
the
sure.
problem?
Yeah,
you know, and also, I don't even know this person. Why am I going to spend so much time? Like, I have other people I'd rather spend time with at that point, you know? But it became a whole discussion. And then eventually it was like, are these my thoughts, or are these like social media's thoughts? Like, do I really believe in this, or is this just someone else or many people who have now like just, you know, framed the seed in my brain? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that was a whole conversation where this girl was like, I deserve to be wined and dined and whatever, and then half the comments are, yeah girl, whatever you want, and then the other half the comments are like, what are you saying? Like, that's so scary. You don't know this person, and like obviously you just want to feel it out, and maybe he wants to make you feel comfortable, that's why he's just calling you for a coffee date, whatever. And there's like a handful of comments in that where men are like, last video somebody told me that I should be taking you on a coffee date, and now somebody's telling me I should be wined and dined. Then the last video somebody told me you should be picking me up at my house, and then the next video said that's so creepy that I offered to pick you up at your house. And that is so hard. Like, it's already hard to be the person who has to make the first move, but now every word that you say will be analyzed, and you don't know how it's gonna land because every woman is different, right? And they say it so strongly in these videos where it feels like that is the opinion of all womankind, when obviously in the comments it's not. Right? So it's very hard for them to process, like, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, I'm supposed to do this? No, I'm not. I'm supposed to, no, I'm not. So, like, yeah, that's freaking tough. And talking about the video thing, I did find myself falling in that hole where I'd be like, sometimes I'll watch a video and be like, I don't know how I feel about this, and then I'd like click on the comments, and then I'd confirm, okay, this is how I feel about it. Like, I don't like it, or I really do like this, right? So that's something I've been policing myself on too, where it's just like, if I don't know how I feel about it, we're not liking it, we're just moving on. Because why am I, if I'm unsure, then I should think about it. I shouldn't go on somebody else's comment and the top comment is what I believe, right? Because that's just not how I feel. But yeah, it's rough out there for you boys, and I get it. And for the people in my life, and I understand this, sometimes I say things very strongly because I know people who have been affected by men. I've seen the news. I've watched so many things. I'm also on like true crime TikTok. I watch like true crime
don't you like, go to sleep to it?
Yeah, I listen to true crime podcasts. I watch all the documentaries on Netflix and stuff like that. So I know that alters my brain chemistry a little, and it's not fair for the people in my life who, when I go, I'm really scared of men, and I am surrounded by men who protect me and love me.
He's protecting his people.
Facts. He's playing video games upstairs. But I'm like surrounded with people who protect me and love me, and they hear me say things like, "No, but they're horrible people. All men are just not great, and they're scary," and that's not the case. And I don't say all men, but it is it's a blanket term sometimes, and that's not fair to them, because there are some amazing kind humans, and it's also not fair to their moms and their dads, because they've put so much time and love and, like, you know, and some of them they put the work in themselves, and it kind of, when we say things like that, it kind of takes away from what work they put in, their parents put in, and that's not necessarily fair.
And it just causes more of a divide, right?
Yeah.
Like, but at the end of the day, like, I do that too. Like, where, you know, like, we've continuously, like, heard of so many different experiences, and it's just like, why? You just don't get it.
No.
And it's just, it doesn't make sense. So then we think they're all the same, because you hear so many of these repetitive stories, and it's, for the most part, at the end of the day, it's like people that just haven't moved on from things that have probably happened in their past.
Yeah.
And so hurt people. So, you know, that's kind of essentially why a lot of these things happen.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, they're just not evolving. And that's a choice that they're making. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I want to add something, but it would become a whole... I'm going to say it anyway and cut it out. I was just going to say, and we face the repercussions of it,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
Yeah.
But
To that same point, we have to also take accountability of what we allow and not allow in our lives.
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, for
Yeah.
sure. Like I think you're talking also of like extreme cases, right? And that happens. I mean, like, I've fucking dealt with stalking and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I understand that exists, and people are, again,
Wild.
these things happen because people aren't given the right tools to deal with what they need to deal with. And so then they end up doing things that are just, there's no explanation for it. And there's no point in having an explanation for it, because there's nothing that can justify what is happening when it comes to stalking, when it comes to anything extreme, right? But in terms of when it comes to relationships where it hasn't gone to that extreme place yet or something, it's just, there are things that, you know, we can take accountability for. There are things that they should take accountability for, and even if they do, if they're not changing, then it doesn't change shit, right? And like, it's just, that's a them problem.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a them problem, and it doesn't mean that every person that you come across is going to be that way. And I think that's what's become a problem. Like, a lot of,
Yeah.
between men and women. Men think all women are the same. Women think all men are the same. So clearly we're not all the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're all different. We all want and need different things in life. And the only thing with this whole hate against each other thing, the main thing that has it, like, we're just separate now.
Yeah, and it's making it worse.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's making them more angry, and it's making and them being more angry is making us feel less safe. So, you know, like, and vice versa, I will say. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, emotionally, females do things that is freaking insane too.
No.
And physically too, I'm sure.
When women get like angry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it can
Shit can get real.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
So, like, it goes both ways. I think it's just, yeah, it goes both ways. More of the story, it's hard being a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard being a human.
Yeah.
Things are expensive.
Ugh.
The world is crazy.
Yes.
People are mean.
Mm-hmm.
People are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to appreciate each other for who they are and let people be, stand up for the right thing, be kind, and be graceful.
Wow.
I think I covered everything.
I don't have anything else to add.
No, but on a serious note, we do love them. They're great.
Like men? Yeah.
They are.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah.
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 Good ones exist.
But yeah, I agree. I think if we can just have more grace for people and not be so judgmental towards a whole
Gender.
it'd probably be good for us all.
And I think if they can also be a little kinder to the world, that would be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And take accountability where you need to take accountability. Like, you can't blame this is for all of us, but we can't
Yeah.
blame our past and for like how we're acting now, because that's not a good enough reason, especially once you've like passed a certain age. Like, no matter what age, you should always be growing. And if you're not surrounded by people who are pushing you to be that person, to be a better person, no matter what it is, then why the fuck are you like, get it together, bro.
Do it for
At
yourself.
the end of the day, get it together.
Facto.
That's really it. Get it together because
for you.
for yourself, bro. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, we hope this was something. Was
This
this
came
really a
across-
love letter? I don't think this was a love letter. I think this was a
Discussion.
a discussion on writing the letter. So how is this letter gonna go? Would you write a love letter to women?
We should. I do all the
Yeah.
time. Well, not physically write it out, but
Yeah.
like I tell women I appreciate them and I cherish them.
Yeah, but we just
and-
have more of that dialogue usually,
Right.
with other women.
Yes. You know what? Maybe we should all do an activity.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should. Not write a letter
No.
because I know everyone's busy, but I think you should reach out to like men in your life that you do love and that do treat you kindly and just tell them you love them and appreciate them for the work that they've done on themselves, because it's very easy to become sour in this world, both ways, men and women, and especially men because they've just been like, it's easy to fall into the traps. So the fact that they're not that way is such a relief, and it's amazing. So just love on them a little extra. And I
Yeah.
think that should be the activity.
Okay. That's a good activity.
And that's like, there's a CTA. Yeah, CTA,
What's that?
call to action.
Okay.
And that's doing something.
So you're gonna do it?
I am.
Okay.
I do it all the time. I tell the people who I'm like with that I love them a lot. Like the people who I'm like,
really does.
yeah, I do that a lot.
It's a lot.
It's just when I talk about them in a group,
Yeah.
sometimes like how scared I am sometimes like comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm.
Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at
ALMST.
there. And let us know if you do have any questions. And if you do questions?
Quick.
Let us
Y'all
know.
got any questions? Let us know, okay? Because I know this is like a webinar.
Let us know if
Q&A at the end.
and whatever you would like us to talk about, let us know down below. And if you want a love letter to woman, bro, that'd be so much fun. We should do it.
I feel like we do it all the time.
Yeah, but we should just do one video of a love letter to woman.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Sounds
right.
good.
Thanks for being here. Bye.